Moderna says its COVID vaccine is almost 95% effective.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by UKG. Ultimate Kronos Group offers HR solutions to connect modern workforces. UKG.com. Our purpose is people. And by HIMSS, offering men access to licensed medical professionals online who can evaluate conditions including hair loss. Online prescriptions available if appropriate. More at forhims.com/2020.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore in for David Brancaccio. Moderna is the second drug company in a week to announce preliminary results showing its COVID vaccine is highly effective. Dow futures are rallying on the news. Marketplace's Nova Safo joins us with more. Hi, Nova.
Good morning.
So what are the details of Moderna's announcement?
Well, Moderna says its coronavirus vaccine is almost 95% effective and may have helped prevent severe cases of COVID-19 among those who still got infected. Now, this was not unexpected news, Sabri, after Pfizer and BioNTech's announcement last week, because both of these experimental vaccines use similar technology, new technology, relying on messenger RNA, a cell's internal mechanism to help fend off a viral infection. Now, the big difference is that unlike Pfizer and BioNTech's vaccine, Moderna's version does not need to be kept in ultra-cold storage for transport, so it could be less of a logistical challenge to get it to people. We should caution that neither of these vaccines currently have regulatory approval, but applications are expected in the next few weeks.
And then what happens? How long will it take to get vaccines to people? A while, I guess.
Yeah, it will be a while. If approved, we could have tens of millions of doses by the end of this year, but hundreds of millions are needed. The U.S. has deals in place for both vaccines to buy as much as 1 billion doses, so we'll have enough eventually, but it's going to take a while to manufacture that many. It's also unclear how many people will actually take them. Polling shows about 50% are willing to get vaccinated. That's not going to cut it. As one of the BioNTech scientists explained over the weekend, you need a high vaccination rate to get this pandemic under control.
Marketplace's Nova Safo, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's do the numbers with all that in mind. Dow futures are up 451 points. That is 1.5%. S&P futures up 0.9%. NASDAQ futures down 0.3%. And Moderna stock is up 11 points. That's 12% in pre-market trading. A lot of companies have evolved over the course of the pandemic. Take Walmart, which is incidentally reporting earnings tomorrow. A mega retailer, its business has grown this year. Walmart ramped up the e-commerce side of things in its ongoing competition with Amazon. And now it is launching Walmart Pet Services, as in pet insurance, dog walking, pet sitting, on top of the pet food and toys it already sells. Marketplace's Megan McCarty-Carino has more.
The increase in the number of people getting pets has been one of the few truly positive news stories this year.
Oh, yes, I have a pandemic golden. He is in training right now.
Dog owner Greg Portell is also a partner with Carney Consulting Firm. He says the nearly $100 billion pet market has proven to be resilient, even through recessions.
Consumers have really taken to pets as a way to have a little bit of luxury without really going over the top for themselves.
Specialized retailers like Petco and PetSmart have dominated the market, but retailers like Walmart and Target are catching up, says analyst Mickey Chada with Moody's Investors Service.
It's an attractive space to be in.
And the big box stores have an advantage during the pandemic because consumers are looking for one-stop shopping. But he says specialty stores have an advantage too. Some pet retailers have exclusive deals with pet food brands, and our fur babies can be pretty picky eaters. I'm Megan McCarty-Carino for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive Insurance, offering its Home Quote Explorer so shoppers can evaluate options in one place when buying home insurance. Custom quotes and rates are available online. Learn more at progressive.com. And by Blackline, presenting Beyond the Black, a virtual event dedicated to modern accounting and open to all finance and accounting professionals, November 17th to 19th, blackline.com. And by X-Chair, maker of the X2 home office chair with dynamic variable lumbar support, donating to Gladstone Research Institute to fight COVID-19 at xchair.com.
In a place like New York City, a lot of small businesses have struggled to keep up with the astronomically high commercial rent during the pandemic. Revenues are still far below normal, and a lot of people are worried there may be more lockdowns this winter. Restaurants and bars have already had to start closing early. So businesses are and have been trying to renegotiate their rents. As Camille Peterson reports, many are finding it can be a pretty arbitrary process.
Since March, Joanne Kwong has been in the middle of the commercial real estate market's rigid math.
I think most of the burden is falling now on kind of the lowest rung, which are the commercial tenants.
Kwong is the president of Pearl River Mart, a retailer in Manhattan. She has 2 open locations, but says she's still making less than half her usual revenue. Before the pandemic, Kwong was paying around $1 million in rent a year for those 2 locations and a warehouse. She says negotiating to try to get a break on her rent is like rolling the dice.
Our situation is kind of dependent on the whims or the situation of the landlord.
One of Pearl River Mart's landlords has agreed to reduce rent. Another is demanding 100% of it. Kwong says Pearl River Mart might have to leave that location. Joed Faruqi says his revenues have been down almost 60% during the pandemic. He owns a framing store, Rook, with 3 locations in Manhattan. Faruqi says one of his landlords has reduced the rent, another argues about it every month, and a third won't even entertain the idea of negotiating.
I was explaining to him that every day I see a new store closing. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, so you know that this is how it is. Why do we have to fight?
But making rent negotiation less arbitrary is hard. Rachel Meltzer teaches urban policy at the New School. She says commercial leases tend to be long and not flexible, and the city doesn't have a consistent way of regulating commercial rents even in normal times.
It's hard to come up with something systematic in the middle of a crisis.
Meltzer says right now, money would be the best equalizer.
Some kind of bailout just to support these businesses and help them pay whatever rent they have to pay.
But small businesses do have some leverage. Nicola Russo is with CBRE, a real estate services firm. She says in New York City, rents are down and vacancies are up.
There's not a lot of tenants lined up waiting for, tenant X to move out so tenant Y can move in.
So if landlords don't negotiate, they may be rolling the dice too. In New York, I'm Camille Peterson for Marketplace.
And I'm Sabri Benishore with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.